Yo, Haudenosaunee, yo, Haudenosaunee.
We've traveled from the four cardinal directions with the spirit of lacrosse in our hearts. Gathered in ceremony and sport, we aim for the gold. Win, lose, or draw, we bring the creative joy. Our gifts against another, whose will prevail? Only day's end will rebel. We shake hands in respect of one another, to acknowledge their gifts and honor the journey. With fire in our hearts and fairness in our minds, we battle to the finish, shake hands and smile. It's an extraordinary day when we get to play the Creator's game.
For the Haudenosaunee, this team captures the spirit, the primordial spirit of the sport of lacrosse, the Creator's game. It's a cosmic ballet on this field, and their head coach, Lars Tiffany, he's not indigenous, but he grew up near Onondaga Reservation in central New York. Very close to the roots of this game, Quint.
Telling us moments ago that this team doesn't play in print, in normal fonts. They play in cursive. They play in calligraphy. It's a beautiful game.
And Matt Brown, newly promoted head coach of the Denver Pioneers, in his third World Lacrosse Championship, first as Team Canada's head coach.
Yeah, Matt Brown understands offense, spacing in the Canadian two-man game, from the box lacrosse roots, bringing it to the field as well as anyone who's from north of the border.
Jake Withers, the face-off man for Canada. Jeremy Thompson for the Haudenosaunee, a face-off violation, and it will belong to Team Canada. 77 in white, Zach Currier dumps it off to Dane Smith. The Canadians will get their personnel set. Team Canada's only loss so far came on opening night to Team USA. They won the first meeting in pool play against the Haudenosaunee, an 8-7 one-goal victory. Starting attack, Ryan Lee, Jeff Teat, Curtis Dixon, Dane Smith, Clark Peterson, part of that first midfield along with Josh Byrne. No shot clock in the international game. Here comes Peterson working on Case and Tarbell. Both played their collegiate ball at Cornell. Now Byrne gets a pick from Peterson. His left hand is free, fires, and the save made by Warren Hill. Lost to the rebound. Canada in the crease, interference called, and the Haudenosaunee will have their first possession.
Left side of your screen, Josh Byrne, the silky smooth lefty, plays for the PLL Chaos. Warren Hill.
Yeah, Six Nations, Syracuse, 2016. Took a little hiatus since the 2018 games.
First set now for the Haudenosaunee. Kyle Jackson's got the ball, 47 in purple, out there on the midfield with Zach Miller and Lyle Thompson, 4 in purple, one of the best to ever pick up a lacrosse stick. Here comes Miller, wheeling down the alley, dumps it behind the cage, Randy Stotts. He's got his defender hung. Out to Jackson, back up top, it's Miller, and now Thompson on the wing, marked by Graham Hosick, Canada's top defender. Now picked up on a switch by Patrick Shumay. Stotts maneuvering from behind the cage. Absorbs the contact from Brody Merrill, hits the pipe, and on the rebound it comes to Team Canada and Challen Rogers. Feed inside from Hosick, and the goal is good. Canada on the board first. It's Latrell Harris. So it's Canada striking in transition. It's the long pole to the D midi. Hosick to Harris.
And they catch a break, the Canadians do. That shot ricochets off the pipe right to one of their players, and then they're off to the races. It's a 6-on-5 break.
Yeah, Challen Rogers along with Zach Currier are two of the better two-way middies in this championship series. And Graham Hossack spots Latrell Harris, and that is an all-defensive midfield type transition goal. And that's where I think the Canadians have the advantage. In between the two restraining boxes, they just have faster athletes.
And at the face-off X, where they are 2 for 2. In that first meeting, Canada won 11 of 19. And Quint, when we spoke to Lars Tiffany, he said, listen, we know we're at a big disadvantage at the face-off X against the U.S. and Canada. He would gladly sign up for 8 for 19.
I think two things in this matchup stand out to me. Team Canada shooting 44% in this event in San Diego, which is just off the charts. And then the Haudenosaunee, the way they've improved their defense. They were holding teams down, way almost a third fewer goals than back in 2018 in Netanya. Their defense has just been much more buttoned up.
I think Lars Tiffany spent a lot of time the last couple years identifying how to get this defense better for the Haudenosaunee, and it shows. And then the selfless play of Zed Williams, one of the best offensive players in the world, now playing defense. He's guarding Jeff Teat, 36 in purple.
Zed Williams will play with the short stick on the man-up unit, but he's been a long pole. Ryan Lee screams it wide, and Teat with the backup.
Yeah, that didn't look good defensively. You give Lee that kind of real estate from 10 yards with his right hand and feet set, he's typically going to nail that.
Lee had 4 goals in the quarterfinal. That's going to be against Canada. Haudenosaunee pushing the other way. Piscino, 88 in purple, comes back, shot from Tarbell, saved by Dylan Ward. Out of the scramble, Canada's got it. That was Dyson Williams. Up ahead to Cam Wires, former Loyola Greyhound.
Quite a save. Quite a save by Dylan Ward. He's got the high arc like a hockey goalie. He'll come out almost to the top of his crease. Does he bait this one, Kark? Did he give him the high setup and hoping for the low shot? Because he was all over it.
Well, part of his style, when you look at Dylan Ward, he's so big and long. But his big game ability on the World Championship stage, there's no goalie in the tournament with more experience.
Dane Smith, little shot fake, and Ward, to your point, MVP of the 2014 games when Canada won the gold. Here is the 35-year-old Curtis Dixon, playing in his 3rd World Championships. Dixon plays it back to Peterson, out to the wing. That shot was blocked off the cross of Jeff Teat. Stays with Canada, closest to the ball where and when it goes out on a shot, awarded possession.
I like how the Haudenosaunee aren't pressing too much. They're packing it in, giving Warren Hill every opportunity to save those. Oof.
Now that's an easy one. Dane Smith, a slam dunk. They packed it in, and Canada's still able to get inside.
The passing that you'll see from this team today, if you're a young player, you want to watch it. They all have pockets that allow for passing, and they snap the ball. They move without it. So it's a pass down the wing, a fake pick, and he just slips it and beats his man to the inside. That's simple. Defensively, you've got to respect Dane Smith a little more on that cut. So it was a pick that turned into a cut.
What he did better than anyone on that cut, it wasn't just a pick. It was a hesitation into a sprint in the cut. Right? So he gets the defense. He gets the defense. He lulls the defense to sleep like he's just kind of flushing through the middle and going into their ball rotation and their off-ball play. And then he sprints when he wants the ball.
It's something you see in basketball. That's a give and go.
Absolutely. It's a give and go off of a hesitation.
This team was cooking with fish grease yesterday in a 20-1 win over Jamaica. The Jamaican national team, one of the huge stories in each of this tournament. And the passing that you saw from the Maple Leafs was just outstanding.
You will see next level stick skills in this game. Canada and the Haudenosaunee. A lot of what you call the box background will be on display here.
Canada 6th in the tournament in assists. They will spread it. And this guy is one of the best passing midfielders in the world in Dane Smith, 92 in white.
A 2-time NLL MVP. Now Dixon. Looking for Lee. It's on the ground and picked up by Hannah Thompson. When we talked to Lyle Thompson before the game, Quint, he mentioned to us the big difference for the Haudenosaunee this year, what's allowed them to hang with Team USA and Team Canada and nearly pull off upsets in pool play. More disciplined style. They learned from their experience in 2018 in Israel. You can't play up and down in this format. It cost them badly against Canada in 2018. They've learned from it. Lars Tiffany was telling us a lot of mechanics, a lot of plays, a lot of set plays, a lot of structure to this team, more than usual.
Discipline and structure, understanding the importance of ball possession in this format. Okay, this is a format that it's not a run and gun style of lacrosse. You got to get a lead and then possess the ball. They've shown uncommon maturity. To me, having seen this team play now in Netanya and then here, they're just more mature. They're more situational aware. And many guys on this team, the clock is ticking. This game may be the last time they ever play together.
Here comes Brendan Bomberry, a right-hander nicknamed Lefty Bombs. He's got the short stick. Now the great Lyle Thompson.
This is the matchup we want to see. Graham Hosick, one of the top defenders in the world. When I spoke to Lyle before the game, nursing a shoulder injury.
Thompson to Zach Miller. His shot saved by Dylan Ward. And Shumay corrals the rebound. And now another legend of the game, 17 in white, Brody Merrill. A couple of Lionhearts and Lyle and Brody.
Brody's 5th world championship.
The Lion and Winter Roars.
41-year-old. Yesterday was covering 17-year-old Stone Evans of Jamaica, who is a rising senior in high school.
Brody has mentored and coached a number of these Canadian players in his time at the Hill Academy. Here is Wesley Berg, former Denver Pioneer, led the Pios to a national championship in 2015. Now Connor Fields against Jacob Piscino, who has emerged as a star defensively for Albany, 88 purple.
Conference Player of the Year.
That's Dyson Williams.
No, it's not.
That is Dyson Williams, who is showcasing another level of his game. If you've watched him at Duke, he's an off-ball finisher and an elite off-ball finisher. His teammates were telling us yesterday he can carry.
He's in disguise. We got to get a helmet shot because this is not the same Dyson Williams.
The San Diego Zoo. Quint and I took a trip there last week. We saw the red panda, saw some koala bears,
saw some cool snakes.
We did not catch a glimpse of the polar bear, however.
The female lion in person was just downright scary. Muscled, big. Oh man, I wanted no part of getting close to that thing.
Those are not lions, those are giraffes. Got flamingos too. Dyson Williams, his reputation at Duke, off-ball guy. His reputation this last week and change, carrier, feeder. We have never seen this version of Dyson Williams at Duke, Quint.
No, and I think it's been eye-opening, and they're utilizing him from the midfield. Okay, he's played majority of his time down in Durham on the attack. He's known as a lefty finisher, and we've just seen him carrying and taking advantage of some matchups. So Matt Brown has been kind of giving him the green light to go to the goal, and he's opened my eyes.
His Canadian teammates were telling us yesterday, this guy carried in high school. He was a Dodger in high school. He plays that same kind of role when he plays indoor up in Canada. Utilized differently at the NCAA level, but this is not a role that he's unfamiliar with, according to his teammates.
Well, I mean, the Hill Academy is one of the best prospects heading to Duke in the nation, right? I mean, he was a top recruit there. He does play with Brennan O'Neill and Andrew McAdory on attack, where he gets a long pull on him. He's the 6th option right now, running at the midfield with Westberg and Connor Fields. those guys garner a little bit more attention.
Are you being skeptical?
No, I'm not being skeptical. I think Dyson Williams is phenomenal. He's done a dozen Duke games, and I always singing his praise.
Dyson is shooting 10 of 16 for the tournament.
It's smart. It's smart detection by Matt Brown. He's the sixth option on him. Go to the rack.
Here comes Teat, saved by Hill, rebound loose. And Warren Hill vacuums it. A trebuchet pass up ahead to Pacino.
Love this guy, 88 in purple. She said 1 year remaining at Albany.
Austin Stotts got tangled up with Shume. They're going to get a flag on Shume, and Austin Stotts is down near the crease. And a flag comes down. Got an injury where the play is going on. That will stop play. If it was behind the play, then you can continue.
I hope he's all right. He's been nursing some knee injuries from the past. Tough as nails.
Oh, it's a cut. He pulled the string and went back door, and I didn't see much there. Look at Shume, got his hands up. Did they get tangled up, or was that just a dive?
Yeah, it looked like he might have gotten a push from the back.
He leaves for the extra man now. This is a lethal unit when you have the scorers like Lyle Thompson and Randy Stotts, Brendan Bomberry, Kyle Jackson on the left side. Fourth best extra man unit in this tournament field.
Jackson gets it back, probing from the high wing. Bomberry, the through pass, getting free. Randy Stotts denied. Comes back to Lyle Thompson. Shot from straight ahead. Bomberry, no! On the rebound, Jackson. And the Haudenosaunee are on the board.
The ball spins at hyperspeed when the Haudenosaunee are in the settled spots, let alone extra man. Bomberry really hasn't missed much in this tournament. 60% shooter. He stares down Dylan Ward. Dylan Ward wins that battle, but he doesn't win the rebound. Kyle Jackson slings it.
And the key off the rebound is how quickly it was scooped up on the far side. I think it was Lyle who scoops it up and gets the ball to the near side for Kyle Jackson, Michigan class of 2016. Plays for the PLL Chaos. He's been really, really good over the last week.
It's a big face-off win.
Canada had won the 4 previous one. Here comes Thompson in traffic, lost the ball. Canada's got numbers on the scramble. And a flag. 2 flags.
Good look at Zach Currier playing in his second game of this event. He was handled cautiously by the Canadian coaching staff, dealing with some injuries. Princeton grad, plays in the PLL for the Water Dogs.
Each team penalized, so we get a 5-on-5. Here comes Austin Stotts back in there for the Haudenosaunee, feeding the wing. Not much on the shot from Bomberry. Ward gobbled it up. Final 80 seconds, quarter number 1. Canada with a 3-1 lead. Winner to the gold medal game, loser to the bronze medal game. Michael Grace got trail checked by Ron John. And now Connor Fields will settle.
They'll hold for 1 here. They'll hold for 1. This is a big difference without the shot clock. How you manage the end of each of these quarters.
And Canada right now with a 5-on-6.
Released.
30 seconds to go. Dyson Williams gives it up to Connor Fields.
I don't know why the Haudenosaunee didn't double
Press.
the ball there.
Yeah, you chase around. You know, that's a good point. Good point, Gart. Fields a dual citizen. Buffalo native, played for the Fort Erie Hawks Didn't get a tryout for Team USA. So anyone who wants to throw barbs at Connor Fields, I give Connor Fields credit for playing for Team Canada.
Here's Berg. Going low with 3 seconds, and Canada's margin back to 3.
That's a stinger.
Big.
That's a stinger.
That's big for Wes Berg, too, because when you think of his tournament, he's an elite goal scorer and has potential to put up big numbers. But this tournament, that's only his 2nd goal.
Well, he hasn't had great chemistry with Connor Fields, and Connor can be tricky to play with. The way he yo-yos back and forth on a lot of his dodges. There's a lot of ball time with Connor, and I think it's just taken Wesley some game reps to know where the opportunities are, to know how to play off of him.
Well, the bottom line there, too, is Connor Fields will draw a double. And that time, Wesley Berg stood in a spot where he was only 1 or 2 steps away from getting above goal line extended for a shot.
Quarter number 1 comes to an end. Canada in control, 4 goals from 4 different players. In the first meeting against the Haudenosaunee, Canada scored 8 goals from 7 different players. Latrell Harris, it was defense to offense. Dane Smith, Dyson the Dodger. The 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championship is sponsored by Rady Children's Hospital, the largest children's hospital on the West Coast, ranked among the 10 best children's hospitals in the nation. We remind you our next WNBA game is on ABC Saturday afternoon. A rematch of last year's finals. It is Asia Wilson and the Aces hosting the Sun, 3 Eastern, noon Pacific. There's Scott Marr on the left, now out of the picture. Lars Tiffany in the bucket hat, the head coach for the Haudenosaunee, playing their 7th game in 7 days here in San Diego.
And this is a team that's not really loaded with the 2-way deep midfield, right? So they're using all their resources, and guys like Jeremy Thompson facing off Kyle Jackson. If you were to put the GPS on them, the mileage they've clocked over this past week is insane.
Jeremy Thompson, 36 years old. One of my favorite players of all time. Syracuse class of 2011. He's played indoors for the NLL Swarms, played outdoors for the MLL, Chaos and Atlas in the PLL. He represents everything that's great about this game.
2-time All-American at Syracuse. Dane Smith, a couple of seasons removed from an MVP campaign in the NLL. Won a championship with Chaos in the PLL. Now Jeff Teat. There's Peterson. He was Teat's running mate at Cornell. Now Dixon against Zed Williams with a long pole. Dixon over to Byrne, and that shrieks wide.
Dixon with a little bit of a rocker step, which freed up his hands. Byrne with the step down. Byrne's got such great style.
Down the alley, shot and a score. Too easy for the Great Dane.
He's a big star up in Buffalo. He can't go to the pubs without being mobbed. His special sauce is speed and good leverage.
It's the 2nd time he did it cutting, now this time with the ball. He turns on another gear when he wants to accelerate towards the cage as a cutter and as a dodger and a scorer. And what was interesting about that dodge, too, is he stayed towards the middle of the field. He never exited towards the sideline to lose that angle. So he's direct with his dodge. There's no kind of question in terms of where he's going. He is going right to the heart of the cage.
How about on that near side wing, side by side, Brody Merrill and Lyle Thompson.
Put Lyle up at the wing, and he's caught on defense now, and he'll play a cat and mouse game with Brody Merrill, who's going to be subbing.
Zach Courier now, do-it-all midfielder, plays for the Water Dogs of the PLL, start at Princeton.
This game's a little bit of in a danger zone right now with Canada owning possessions and this lead. in a format that makes comebacks very difficult.
Connor's got a shorty here. You look at how slippery his dodging ability is. Watch his top shoulders now. He kind of snakes through pressure.
Fields learned a lot from Lyle Thompson. They played together at Albany for a year.
He wants his left. That wasn't a smart move by his teammate who dragged the pole in his direction and allowed the pole to slip on Fields.
Team out of a triple team to Dyson Williams. And before any of that, we get a timeout from Matt Brown.
If Fields has the matchup you like, you got to stay away from him, not set a pick for him.
Yeah, you pick to get the short stick matchup. You don't pick to lose it. Connor Fields, one of the most prolific scorers in NCAA lacrosse history. He's having a tremendous year for the Archers now offensively. As we take a look at Matt Brown. And I think the big story here in the early stages this second quarter is, one, Lyle's health. For the Haudenosaunee to make a run in this game, Lyle Thompson, arguably the best player in the world, 4 in purple, has to make his presence felt. And when we spoke before the game, he's nursing a shoulder injury, and he has a big physical matchup with the guy who's guarding him in Graham Hosick. So that's worrisome for me.
Well, if you've watched this team this week, it's been a three-headed approach. It's been Randy Stotts at X, it's been Austin Stotts on the left wing, and Lyle from the right wing. And those guys have done the majority of the initiating. When they've been successful, they've kicked the ball up top for some of the other guys like Kyle Jackson. I got to see more Randy Stotts. I got to see more Austin Stotts. If Lyle, as you say, Kark, you don't think he's 100%.
There just haven't been a ton of possessions for the Haudenosaunee. Lyle Thompson, you saw the resume. It speaks in the imperative. Taking a year off from the PLL. Still suiting up here for the Haudenosaunee. We talked at length with Scott Marr and Lars Tiffany before the game, Quint, and the one theme that came up from 2018 to now, this team didn't come here just to play. They didn't come here just to spread a message. Yes, they're going to do all that. The goal is to win. Oren Lyons addresses the team at the end of every huddle, and as much as there is a spiritual piece to what the Haudenosaunee do, Lyons' message has been win.
Yeah, I think the difference this year, these guys are rock stars here in San Diego. Understand that every nation has such respect for them. The tie-in with the origins of this game, clearly, they're always the home team. And that's the way it's going to be. But this year, I think they want it to be known more for how they play and how they win. And they have shown uncommon grit in some close games over the last week.
And how they play is they can play with any team in the world, right? The 1-goal loss to Canada earlier, the 2-goal loss to the U.S. If this team is fresh and is on rest, stylistically, they can play with anyone. But the 7 games in 7 days, that's an uphill battle.
A Herculean task. From the wing, Jeff Teat off the pipe. Loose in front, picked up by Zed Williams, shoveled back to Warren Hill. Manganell ahead to Pacino. Numbers, here comes Tarbell. Pacino, one more, there's Lyle Thompson, top corner, wow!
This is a sick shot. This is an absolute rip. And when we were speaking before the game, he told me that he's had to shoot a little underhand. This one,
Baja.
Yeah, this one did not look like underhand. This looked like sidearm, adrenaline, power, and straight fire.
Starts with a shot off the post. Teat ricochets this, and for the second time this game, the Haudenosaunee are on the scene. Warren Hill comes up, the lefty, with his eyes up. And then Pacino has been masterful in transition.
Yeah, this is a great balance in terms of transition. Pacino to the wing, back to Pacino. And when you're in a 2-on-1 with Lyle Thompson and you're Pacino, you give the ball to Lyle Thompson.
And a face-off won by the Haudenosaunee, trying to dent what was a 4-goal deficit. They've cut it to 3 on the Thompson goal, his 10th of this tournament. He had 2 in the first meeting against Canada.
Our producer, John Kettering, from our ESPN games, makes a valid point. Why would you leave Lyle to go cover a long pole? Again,
Austin Stotts, that one off the side of the skirt.
he bought it.
Well, listen, when Austin Stott shoots, even with no angle, you've got to be on guard.
He bought it.
Harris the other way. Crease feed dropped by Dixon. And now this game, from a tempo perspective, Paul, this plays to the Haudenosaunee strength.
When they can strike a little bit in transition, the ball movement and the spatial awareness. That last Lyle Thompson goal, too. A lot of times you tell players to move to space. Well, he was smart enough to stay in a spot because he had that 2-on-1. And it's the understanding that sometimes finding space isn't the answer.
Using the sub game here. Shot blocked off the stick of Jackson. Picked up by Hasek.
Great help by Hasek, who got in the shooting lane there.
He charges ahead, dumps it to Dyson Williams. Rather, Ryan Lee matched by Oakley Thomas.
Lyle's on D now for second time in a couple minutes.
Do you try to run him?
He can play defense.
He can play defense.
He was a great midfielder in high school. I watched him in high school. In a state championship when he was playing for Lafayette against Manhasset, he had 9 goals, never stepped off the field, faced off, played defense. The epitome of a lacrosse player.
Out of the box, Peterson cutting toward the cage. His shot blocked. It's got some English on it. Byrne tries to track it down. It will stay with Canada. Byrne over to Teat. Now Dixon picked up by Zed Williams. 8 minutes to go, first half.
Canada still hasn't shown a Byrne-Teat two-man game on this left-handed wing this entire tournament.
Saving it for the gold medal.
In my eyes, that's what they're holding for the big game.
Dane Smith has the short stick. Jackson.
I would have to agree with you because that is a lethal two-man game percolating.
Dane's got 2. Gives it up. Peterson whistles it a bit too high. 7:25 to go, opening half. A trip to the gold medal game on the line. The Canadians lead by 3. Canada with a 5-2 lead on the Haudenosaunee, and this game and this tournament populated by maybe a school you wouldn't think right off the top. Albany, more than a dozen players plus 2 coaches representing the capital region and the Albany Great Danes.
Well, Scott Marr has been at Albany for over 2 decades. Grew up in his house. His younger brother Dave was one of my best friends, and Scott's always had an open mind about the sport of lacrosse. Reminded me, honestly, of my college coach, Roy Simmons Jr., in terms of how he lets his players take risks, take chances, make mistakes, and it's no surprise how many are flourishing in the world stage.
And on the Canadian sideline, you've got Merrick Thompson.
Well, I want to talk about Scotty Marr as a college classmate of mine. Love of the game. There's also a love of the game factor here with his athletes, and I think he really promotes that, teaches that, fosters that. So guys do want to play for Latvia. Guys do want to represent the U.S., obviously, in Canada, and play as much lacrosse as they can internationally.
Byrne to Teat. That one hit a pipe. Dying near the sideline. Teat able to pick it up. Eyes up. Now it's Byrne. Behind the back pass, Teat. Flips it behind the cage. Peterson working on Tarbell. Teat with the catch. It comes back to Dane Smith, and
they don't drop balls.
No.
Like, it's amazing. The stick work, the proficiency.
Everyone's got a passing pocket, too. The ball's in and out. Doesn't look like they got big hooks or whips.
All wrist, too. You look at the wrist strength of the Canadians.
Nice stop.
It's a beautiful stop. Offside by Warren Hill. Looks like he's a little slow to get up there.
So Warren had to dig out his chest protector after 4 years of not playing field lacrosse, and it was eaten by mice in his bag.
Look at that save, though. That's a beautiful
Beautiful.
save.
The split. Hill Academy, 6 Nations, 5'10", 250, but can move.
Starting as a goalie for the 3rd time on this stage. Here comes Dixon. Double teamed. Able to hold on. Gives it up to Ryan Lee. Now Byrne. Wants to get to the left. He does. And pumps it high.
So the net's for.
That's why you have netting.
Yes. So they have Pacino down low, who's been playing a lot of long stick midfield, trigger in transition. He's on teat. This is a matchup. Dane Smith on Kyle Jackson.
Smith, big size advantage. Too easy. He drew the slide. He finds Lee, and it's 6-2 Canada.
They were worried about Dane Smith the moment he had that matchup against Kyle Jackson, and the Haudenosaunee were on red alert, Quint.
Defenses must have one voice. They must have one brain. I don't mind the double team. You see it right there. 15, Oakley Thomas goes, but it's the second slide that's late or not effective. Jackson's in pretty good position. So Hogarth didn't have to go. Zed Williams is late, if that was in fact his assignment. But defense is played by 6 men, all operating simultaneously like gears.
I think if you were to take the jerseys off the players, and that was just Kyle Jackson defending an offensive player, they wouldn't have slid. But because it's Dane Smith and because of how dangerous he is at creating offense, they were too happy to slide prematurely.
And that's where your voice is so important as a goalie and as an interior defender. You're using names. Hey, he's good, he's good, he's good. Or be ready, we gotta go. And you're constantly weighing those decisions as a defender and as a goaltender. You're gauging every matchup on every pass and talking inside out.
Dane Smith has a hand in half of Canada's goals, 2 goals, and now an assist. Lyle Thompson has his pass knocked away by Ward, and it comes to Canada. That was Jake Withers staying in there. The face-off man, now Courier, a two-way threat.
Not just a two-way threat, the best two-way threat on the planet. 77 in white.
He did not play in the pool play game here. Was it a week ago Wednesday when the U.S. beat Canada 7-5?
He's a game tilter. You put him on the wings. And Withers, who didn't play in that first game against the U.S. either, who's one of the better face-off men I've ever seen when he loses the draw. That's going to be a big difference if these teams meet again.
Canada has a history of losing the pool play game and winning the rematch. You go back to 1978, the first championship. They lost in pool play, Anish. You're not going to believe this. They lost 28-4 to the U.S. and then beat them in the final 17-16.
There's a story behind that, Quint. There's a reason that score was so lopsided. Connor Fields gives it up right on the doorstep.
They played their junior team.
Q, why was that game so lopsided?
I'm not sure, Anish. I know Stan Cockerton, Mike French, and Dave Huntley turned it up and won 17-16 in Manchester. And Dave Huntley then, as a coach of this Canadian team, always would sandbag the pool play game against the U.S. and they wouldn't show their hand, and they'd improve during the tournament. And as we saw in 2014, Canada typically improves and holds their best up for the final.
78 was their first world championship. They have 3. 06 and 14 as well in Denver.
That was back in 78. Very few Canadians were playing field lacrosse. Stan Cockerton played at NC State.
Thompson shot saved by Ward.
That's a push.
French played at Cornell and Huntley played at Johns Hopkins. Legends.
I don't know how they got away with that.
Hogarth took one in the chin as well, and that's going to go against the Haudenosaunee.
Lyle was blatantly pushed.
No call
for that loose ball. Blatantly pushed.
Casey Wilson, 2 in white.
International officials.
That's one of the more polite things you've said.
60 of them. Getting better every 4 years. I love Denise for the opening ceremonies when they march him out as that 31st team. And there's 3 female officials in the group as well who are trailblazers.
50 seconds to go, opening half, 6-2 Canada. Dane Smith, 2 goals and a helper. He's got a short stick and tarbell.
Watch, his head is always up. And he's so long, right? When you look at Dane Smith, He's thin, he's long. He stretches his arms sometimes out to get passes, so he's always pass ready.
He's got a different looking two-handed cradle, doesn't he?
You're cradling right now, and if everyone could see, basically what you're doing is you're countering all the top side pressure, right? When a defender whacks away, Dane will flip his hands away from his body really quickly.
10 seconds. Smith continues to run Tarbell. Smith had the right hand free. Over to Byrne. That was a sweet spot. He dropped the ball. Byrne in trouble. Throws it far side. Time expires. Canada had an opportunity. Byrne knows if he catches that, he just has to drop the head. Probably stings the corner.
Those two are always in unison, too. They play
got a podcast together, don't they?
They play professional indoor for the Buffalo Bandits. They play in the PLL for the Chaos together. They're best friends. They're always together. He doesn't normally drop that ball.
Dane Smith, 3 points in the opening half. Canada 1 half away from getting back to the gold medal game. They took silver in 2018. They took gold in 2014. 6-2, Canada leading the Haudenosaunee. You're watching the 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championship presented by Rady Children's Hospital. Semi-final day in San Diego. You got Canada and the Haudenosaunee Canadians leading 6-2 as we get ready for the start of the third quarter. The U.S. and Australia will play later today, 11 Eastern on the East Coast. Winners to the gold medal game, losers to the bronze medal game. Lyle Thompson and the Haudenosaunee have taken bronze in the last 2 World Championships. Canada, a silver medalist in 2018. They won the gold in 2014 and 2006. And the Haudenosaunee need a comeback, Kark, to change the script that we all expected, and that could still very well happen, which is the U.S.-Canada gold medal matchup.
And I think they have a chance to come back because you have a player like Austin Stotts, right? He's the leading scorer in this tournament, maybe the biggest threat in terms of creating offense in this field. He's been scoreless. You do have Lyle Thompson. And knowing Lars Tiffany, I wouldn't be shocked if Zed Williams even picked up a short stick. You could argue Zed Williams is a top 5 attackman in the world. You have that option too.
Zed comes out playing defense, 36 in purple.
Unbelievable what he has done. Member of the Whip Snakes, where he is a dynamic duo on attack with Matt Rambo. Playing defense here all week. He'll play some extra man. But I think it's refreshing. I think it's eye-opening. I think it's a great example of cross-training. And he'll grow from this experience because he's been put in an uncomfortable spot all week long.
And he's delivered.
And you grow. He's been
delivered.
He's been fantastic.
Yes, I was a little concerned when I first heard he was going to be doing that. And then when I started watching him play, I'm like, this is unbelievable. The way that he's able to do this is not normal.
And it speaks to his unselfishness. He came to the coaches. It was his idea. The coaches were on board. Let's do it. Curtis Dixon gets through the defense, draws the flag, takes a hit, still holds on to the ball. Like a whirligig on the ground. And finally, another flag lands, and we'll get the call.
Super glue in his pocket.
Well, his nickname is Superman.
34 now. 34 years old. Delaware class of 2010.
He's getting whacked away here. Wow. He took a beating there. One. There's another one.
Look, still has it. Still has it. Still has
Zed
it.
Comes in.
Still has it.
Last one's on Zed. Zed is one powerful
look, still
dude.
has it. Oh. He's steady Eddie, though, emotionally, Kark.
Yep, 6 on 4. This is not good.
Especially with the way the Canadians can pass. Dane Smith, back to T, backtracks. Smith was looking for the skip, gets it over to Byrne on the doorstep, dropped by Dyson Williams. Inside, Peterson, shot, score.
This is like when you're driving in the car and you get that warning from your GPS. Warning, roadkill ahead. Roadkill ahead. They're up on a 6 on 4, and it's just a matter of time.
You look at Peterson there, too. He's in that high crease area. You have the skip passing potential. right? You saw some skips earlier in that extra man possession. So the Haudenosaunee are playing a little bit wider in their 4 box, which allows the crease to be open.
It's always, yeah.
You got 4 guys.
You're playing that.
Sorry, we're not going to over-criticize you here. I mean,
Anish, you know shapes. You got a young one at home. Like, if you're in a box or a diamond, there's nothing in the middle.
Nothing in the middle. Nothing you can do. Ignacio took the face-off. He's taken both in the second half for Canada.
Jeremy won that one.
Jake Withers, the top face-off man for Canada, did not play in the first 2 games of these World Championships. He had to finish up firefighter training.
It's one of those players where you have to look past the statistics when you look at his effectiveness. And I say that because of his ability to win the possession, not always the draw. He will hunt you down, he will find the ground ball, and he will make it uncomfortable for anyone who beats him in a face-off.
Here comes Zach Miller down the alley against Latrell Harris. Spins it to Austin Stotts. Back to Jackson. Hesitation. Now he backs up. Austin Stotts again. 23 goals in this tournament. His shot turned away. That is a new goalie. Or not, still Dylan Ward. Excuse me. Thought we might see Brett Dobson in the second half. They have split halves at times.
Been playing really well this summer for the Archers in the PLL.
The goalies for Canada telling me yesterday, the challenge in this format is every goal, every save, every shot takes on such great importance because of condensed possessions, and you got to lock in, especially during those 3-4 minute offensive possessions at times.
Great point. When you think of like a college game, you can have 50 possessions in a game. When Canada lost to the U.S. in the opening night, they had 12.
And here's Lyle.
In a PLL game with a 32-second shot clock or a 52-second shot clock, you give up a goal, so what? You know you're going to see a lot of rubber.
And they made that exact point. They said you don't even have time to think about what you let up because now you got a 32-second shot clock off a face-off. Here, you have these extended possessions. Thompson and Hasek, what a matchup. There's Austin Stotts. He doesn't need much of an angle. There's the double team by Merrill. Stotts gets rid of it. Behind the back shot and a score. Austin Stotts to Randy Stotts. Alchemy by the Haudenosaunee.
Canada sends the double team, and it's an effective double team. Watch, Brody Merrill sees the back of his jersey. He's there, pinch double. Only thing is, Stotts forgot to drop the ball.
No, the slip of his stick on this double. He slips through these guys to avoid the pressure. Little brotherly love, backhand action. When you watch Randy Stotts over the years, when he graduated from Syracuse in 2015, you saw that shot dozens of times, but it was what his younger brother did to avoid the pressure. Did you see how he swooped his stick through that double? That was sick.
Procedure call that will go against the Haudenosaunee. 7-3 the score. Canada has not trailed. Got the U.S. and Australia in the second semifinal game. Byrne against Gibson McDonald, gets to the left hand, bounces it offline, and Jeff Teat will trigger from the end line.
Yeah, and the Haudenosaunee changed that matchup pretty quick. You put a shorty on Josh Byrne, you're going to pay the price.
There's Ryan Lee. Lee, the all-time leading scorer at Division III RIT. Byrne against Piscino. Byrne threading the defense, bounces it, missed the cage, and a flag flies in. And Byrne is down.
Looked like he was in the air when he got hit, too.
Lost his helmet, which rolled out into the crease.
This would be
he's down.
A major impact if he is hurt going forward. These rosters only have 23 men. It's not like you can activate an alternate. and he's one of their prime producers. Zed Williams comes in with
right
a pretty
in the midsection.
Pretty clean shot, and the helmet just pops off like he hit the eject button.
Zed Williams is so powerful and strong. So he leaves his feet, and as he leaves his feet, he gets hit so hard in the midsection. Like you mentioned, though, it looked like a clean hit. They threw the flag. Josh Byrne being attended to. We'll be back in moments.
Josh Byrne back on his feet. That's a good sign. The flag was thrown on the hit made by Zed Williams. Quint, when you watch the hit, and we watched it a few times now, that's a clean hit from head on. It's under the head neck area.
This is lacrosse. This is the tough game. Button your chin strap. This is what happens. Wear a mouthpiece. And I think if Zed's hit was with the elbow, with the head, or malicious, the Team Canada guys would have gone after him. They're not bashful, Kark.
It was a clean hit. It was a hard hit. But why the ref threw the flags? Because when the helmet pops off, a lot of times in a bang-bang play, in a quick moment, when you see the helmet pop off, you think that it might be a high hit. But it wasn't.
Here's Peterson. Back to Smith. Over to Teat. Dyson Williams will dig it out. 60 goals at Duke this past season. Now Dixon, who turns 35 in July. Peterson on the doorstep. Flag down. Goal is good from Dyson Williams.
It's a ridiculous skip pass.
Yeah.
Right through, because they're in line. Paul, that skip pass is in line with our booth. And I'm like, there's nothing there. And he throws that through sticks. He throws that through like a crowded subway station in Tokyo, Japan.
Because the release is so quick. A lot of times you give a defender time to knock down a pass when you have a elongated throwing motion. When it's snapped right from your head area, the defense can't react in time to track that ball.
Sunday night baseball. It's the series finale between the Giants, who finish up a 6-game East Coast trip, and the Mets. They will play at Citi Field, 7 Eastern on ESPN and ESPN Radio. San Francisco Giants, the New York Mets, Sunday at 7. We wrapped up the College World Series recently. Had one of the all-time great games, LSU and Wake Forest.
Let's go Mets. Anish, you got a chance to go to a Padres game last week.
Petco was incredible. Incredible. Gallagher Square. You can sit out on the grass. Harry Potter night.
Harry Potter.
You like the Mets too?
I grew up as a huge Met fan.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
It was rough.
It was Dave Kingman days.
Oh, it was the Ed Kranepool days.
Ed Kranepool.
Tom Seaver was my hero, and then things got good.
1986.
Things got good with Doc and Darryl. And
was it 86 you guys
I
won?
go to college and we win the World Series. My roommate
86.
was a Boston
86.
native. 86.
Yeah.
And then 88, losing in the NLCS
Should have won.
to the Dodgers.
Should have beat that. We were
You're
so
like
much
me,
better
you're a
than the
Yankee
Dodgers.
fan. 86
so much
and it's a
better than
wrap.
the Dodgers.
Had a couple of moments,
That one
right?
hurt.
2000 pennant, 2015
I went
pennant.
from sitting behind the dugout when the Mets were horrible. I remember meeting Davey Lopes of the Dodgers, like leaning over the dugout, to like 3 years later the Mets got good, and I was up in the nosebleeds when Doc would pitch. The 60,000.
Doc in his second season. What do you have, a sub-2 ERA? 20 years old, Cy Young Award winner.
ESPN Plus documentary on the Mets.
Oh, yeah. Great book by Jeff Pearlman, too. The Bad Guys Won.
Oh, love that doc. Love that documentary. 30 for 30. It's a great one.
Back to lacrosse. Dane Smith has it for Team Canada. I'm sure the lacrosse folks love baseball chatter.
So we don't see Josh Byrne back in, but they do have flexibility.
It's a two-man here. Two-man up.
There's Byrne. He's back on the field. That's a good sign for Canada. He's at the top crease area.
Here's your two-man up
white.
again, Anish. You see the defense will be in a box or a diamond. So the slot area will be wide open.
This is almost...
They have guys on the perimeter now. They'll put a guy inside here.
They're getting one back. Teat. Over to Dane. Bullseye. A hat trick for Dane Smith. A 4-point game for Dane Smith, a two-time NLL MVP.
Watch Curtis Dixon. 71 in white. Slide towards the crease area to occupy another defender for Dane to hammer this.
Look at him duck And I feel bad for Warren Hill here because defensively you're picking your poison. You're kind of determining where you want the shot to come from. But that was like 8 yards, feet set, and Warren, the lefty from the Hill Academy at Six Nations, he's been really, really good this week, and that's just not fair for any goalie.
So when you have all those guys on the perimeter, then you slide the guy inside, there's your 2-on-1. So Curtis Dixon will never get anything statistically for that goal, but he was a big reason.
You see him duck cart?
Yeah, well, he slid to the crease, and then there was that, should I go up to Dane or do I need to guard the guy in front? And that's what allowed 92 in white, who's been the best player on the field today, score another.
Connor Fields has it. Red 5 standing by.
What I was saying before, too, with Josh Byrne, if he did have an injury problem, they do have flexibility with another lefty in Connor Fields, who is a lefty attacker playing midfield.
Yeah, but Burns a prime time guy.
Of course he is.
Huge for Team Canada. 23-man rosters, it's really thin. There's not much wiggle room as is.
Burns, one of the best attackmen in the world, a former #1 pick in the NLL draft, a 2-time All-Star in the PLL. Here comes Fields against Piscino. Now to Jeff T.
Fields is such a likable young man. His parents, Jen and Pete. I'm sure Pete is here leading the charge.
Connor Fields is like the boy next door. Such a great young man. I remember when Albany went on their run in 2017 and 18 to the national championship weekend. Got to know Connor pretty well, and I have a son with special needs who's at the Final Four that year. They lose to Yale in the semifinals. Gave my son Grayson his game stick. Grayson still plays with that stick to this day.
Love to see it. And Connor Fields grew up watching Mike Powell. Berg with a nice dodge. Going the other way. Here comes Jackson. 6-goal game in a format with no shot clock. Possessions at a premium. Jackson puts it on goal. Saved by Ward. We get a push and a flag.
Or worse.
And now it starts to get chippy.
Yeah, walk away. If you're Canada, there is nothing to gain here.
More flags fly.
Jackson let the shot go, and then he was freight trained. He was stampeded, and he took a nosedive. These two teams,
here it is.
They will protect their turf. I tell you that much. Boom! It's late by Merrill.
Yeah, it's late.
It's late and from the rear by Merrill, and then you see the little subtle cross checks to the hip like this, and next thing you know, you got some hands in the face, and it looks like a hockey game.
It starts with a late hit by Merrill, which isn't like totally egregious, but it was enough for one of the Haudenosaunee players to come in.
Look at him.
Yeah.
That's egregious. Jackson's been spectacular. We spent yesterday morning with Jackson's college coach, John Paul, who the founder of that Michigan program.
Brody's one of those cagey vets that's always he's always
the instigator.
Yeah, he's always in there.
The
like
instigator.
He's been around. When you've been around the game long enough, you know how to needle, right? He's gonna come in there. You pass the ball in ball rotation, 1 Mississippi, you get the extra check.
You watch the pool play game against the U.S. He was swinging the lumber, especially early in this game. Watch 17 in white. Trail this play.
Yeah, it's blatantly a late hit. When I said egregious, like it wasn't like
no, he didn't floor him. He bumped into him.
It was late, but it was what happened after.
He tried to decelerate a little, actually. And if he wanted to, he could have run him and crushed him. I agree with you.
That's not what started that whole... Well, it started it, but it's not the reason why it happened, because afterwards a Haudenosaunee player came in with a little bit of a late check, and then tempers flared.
Great discussion with Brody, 5-time world teamer, about his former teammate Chris Sanderson, who's a goaltender for this. And they wear that jean jacket. Chris's jean jacket, the MVP of each Canada win, gets to wear the old Chris Sanderson jean jacket.
The late Chris Sanderson. Lyle Thompson now. Haudenosaunee with the man up. That's 5-on-5. Excuse me. Stott slips inside on the doorstep. Ward rolling into the goal, but Hogarth was in the crease, and now Shumay will clear for Canada. So missed opportunity there for the Haudenosaunee. Time running out. Remember, in this international format, it's a running clock up until the last 30 seconds of the first 3 quarters, and then in the 4th quarter, it's the last couple of minutes.
I think Canada starts playing a little slower.
I mean, why not? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?
And don't expect them to show anything. And we were talking about earlier, too. They have some tricks in their bag.
You think they've been having secret practices?
Well, a good sign is Josh Byrne is back out on the field for Canada.
Secret practices.
Well, if they've got this offense that we think that Josh Byrne and Jeff Teat are going to go on 2-man games from the left side, if they've been practicing it in, like, the hotel, in the dorm?
What do you have, spies?
I don't know.
It's not like these practices are open to everyone, though.
Dixon playing keep away.
The U.S. moved their practice 30 miles away, 30 minutes away. I watched it the Tuesday prior to the Canada game because Coach Danowski felt there were too many eyes on campus.
Did you say you had to climb over a few things to get down to practice?
With my daughter, Canyon Hills High School is appropriately named.
You're always looking for an extra workout. I don't feel bad.
I wasn't a workout. I was worried about snakes, and I was worried about falling down a mountain lions and falling down a crevice and not coming back.
That's why I didn't go with them.
No, and then after practice at 9 o'clock, it was pitch dark, and we climbed back up the hill in complete darkness.
We get a stall warning, subjective call. So now Canada has to keep it in the attack box. You see the restraining line. Well, I guess you can't see it on your screen now.
Which is the size of the town you grew up in Jersey,
yeah,
right?
It's the top of the box. And in this case, the attack box is the entire width of the field. And the crowd does not like the stall tactics. But listen, these are the rules. And Canada is forcing the Haudenosaunee to make a decision. Do you want to press out? Down 6 in the 3rd quarter, or let us kill clock?
You hate to see it, but you understand where they're coming from.
Got a trip to the gold medal game on the line.
I think it's important for fans to understand that this is not the Olympic standard of lacrosse that's being proposed.
Correct.
That sixes, which is kind of a hybrid indoor-outdoor format, high tempo, single stick size, really positionless lacrosse. Very exciting.
I spoke about it yesterday when I was doing the Israel-U.S. game. This format and the rules is advantageous for the growth of the sport for about 90% of the participating nations, right?
Exactly, yes.
And we want the sport to grow on the international front. The 4 or 5 teams
in the crease.
That's why you want Josh Byrne back in there, though, right? He gives you a little bit of that. But to put a bow on it, Anish, the majority of the teams will grow in this format. When you find the top echelon of teams that you know could run and gun, maybe you want a little bit more.
The Haudenosaunee will need more of that to come back. Canada in the driver's seat, 1 quarter away from playing for the gold on Saturday. The 2023 World Lacrosse Men's Championship, sponsored by Rady Children's Hospital. It's the largest children's hospital on the West Coast, ranked among the 10 best in the nation. You're looking at Torrey Pines, beautiful 36-hole golf course with breathtaking views of the ocean. It's owned by the city of San Diego. 3 quarters in, it has been Canadian domination. 9 of 26 shooting. The Haudenosaunee only 15 shots, only 11 on goal. Canada winning the face-off battle, the possession battle, and now with a 6-goal lead and with international rules, every possession that Canada wins, it's a chance to shrink the game and milk the clock. Thompson has this for Albany, nearly a warding off. And the Haudenosaunee, I should say, for the Haudenosaunee, you see the purple jersey, you say Albany. A lot of Albany guys on the team.
Same exact colorways,
Same
right?
exact colorways. Here comes Brendan Bomberry out of the box. Over to Lyle Thompson. Hossack's done a pretty good job on him. Thompson forced that one, the save made by Ward. And he gets rid of it to Courier.
That was a fabulous save. You saw Dylan Ward step to the other pipe and then reach his stick to save it when it's near pipe. Like that is a goalie who understands the spacing, the pipes, and the shooting tendencies.
Little windshield wiper type save.
Yeah.
Dylan Ward for the champion Water Dogs in the PLL. What an end of the season he had.
Remember that game, Clark? He wins the title. They give him the heavyweight belt, and I'm interviewing him, and he's like, his pulse is like at 40 beats a minute.
Goalies come in all different shapes, sizes.
Yeah, they're not all wired
yes.
like you, Quint. Here's Jeff Teat, marked by Zed Williams. Canada will be patient. We knew, Quint, going into this tournament, Canada and the U.S. would be the two teams to beat. It appears they are destined for another gold medal matchup, which should be a great game. But what we've seen over this last week and a half is the ascendancy of some programs that have a chance to really change the face of lacrosse as Westberg finds the back of the net. Teams like Japan rising. Teams like Jamaica making the quarterfinal. I know they lost 20-1 to Canada, but it's such a grassroots effort on the island. Kark, you called Israel last night. They continue to build and invest in lacrosse in Israel.
Well, you look at what they're doing. So many American players spending years at a time over in Israel, directing the youth leagues and having feet on the ground. And, you know, everyone has a different story. I know you want to talk about Jamaica, Quint, but for me, like Japan, how every player is native to Japan and they don't start playing till their collegiate years. That is incredible, the gap they're able to close.
Two things stood out for me so far in this tournament. Spending almost a full day watching Jamaica play and then talking to their players. 22 black players, a team that has an unusual connection.
There's Lyle, one more shot score. Austin Stotts' 24th goal of these World Championships.
Jamaica ascending and then spending some time with representatives from the Ukraine, where they got kids playing lacrosse and then sleeping in bomb shelters, and then meeting with folks from Kenya. This is just a gorgeous textbook fast break.
Look at the pass by Lyle. You see he catches it, and just the flick of the wrist, too. He doesn't even follow through the entire time, right? He's just snapping that to the backside to Austin Stotts, who has 23 goals, leading the tournament coming into today's contest.
The ability to process. We've seen it from Jeff Teat, Dane Smith, Lyle Thompson, how they can scan the field with their eyes, Paul, and so quickly make decisions.
That's a big face-off win for Canada. Albany had a 3-on-2 advantage facing off.
Called them Albany again.
Albany, Haudenosaunee, man.
I understand.
Yeah. Haudenosaunee.
Well, it's the same colors and some of the same players.
Yeah,
So I get it. But you talk about processing. Lyle from that same spot, not the same exact play, when it was a fast break. Looks like
Lyle with the cause turnover.
Here we go. Here we go.
Bomberry, Stotts right in front. Hang on. It's 10-5. Haudenosaunee not going away.
Back-to-back goals for the first time today. Their fans on their feet. Their bench has got humming now with a little energy. And this was a great ride on the far side. On the crossfield pass, I'm not sure who it was, but somebody crashes down on this pass right here. Watch this effort. Is that Lyle?
That's Lyle.
That is Lyle Thompson, folks.
And it's Randy Stotts to Austin Stotts. And when you give him the ball in front of the cage, it's turn and rake time. But for me, you have to have those kind of plays because you've been getting dominated at the face-off X. So where do you find the hidden possessions? It's in the ride. It's the 50-50 ground balls. It's getting a rebound off a shot. You have to find some of these because the face-off domination today by Canada with these rules 5 goals is a big, big mountain.
The legendary head coach at Syracuse for so many years, Roy Simmons Jr. I asked him, what do you look for in attackman? He goes, I look for guys who can ride. And there's Lyle Thompson, the best in the world, hustling his guts out.
Well, you look at the NCAA season with the Kavanaughs, right? The ride. Like, the ride was so big for Notre Dame. The 2 national championships in a row for Virginia in 2019 and 2021. How many times did we talk about the ride, right? Like, in the PLL, when you look at some of the best players.
They ride.
They ride.
The difference here is
cool to ride.
How often you play. It's not always feasible to do it for long stretches. For the Haudenosaunee, this is 7 games now in 7 days. The schedule makers did them no favors.
Yes, and I think they're the type of team that probably needs rest more than any. When you think about these top 4 or 5 teams, right? The Haudenosaunee are the one team that needs the rest because of the lack of depth in the way that they play.
Lyle Thompson, Jeremy Thompson are in world-class shape. I watched their workouts on Instagram with kettlebells.
Kettlebells.
Crazy kettlebell stuff from Lyle Thompson. But we have to give Austin Stotts a lot of credit for losing 15 or 20 pounds, for changing his body in this process, for working with Coach Lars Tiffany, and putting himself on the field in this event.
It's been amazing.
And being an all-world caliber player.
Let's see how they spin it now. That's a bouncer from Stotts. He didn't see where it went.
When I talk about the depth, when I talk about the depth, it's that second midfield, right? It's the short stick D-middies that some of the other teams have, that they just don't have the volume of those players. But they're top players are the top players in the world.
Back to even strength now. Randy Stotts bodies up his defender, flips it behind the back. Hogarth and Ward in a battle, and off the ground, it's Cam Wires, the former Loyola Greyhound. Casey Wilson now. Just finished his career with the Pioneers. Flag down near midfield. Man-up opportunity for Canada. Randy Stotts in the box.
I was doing some research on Stotts, Kark. Randy, 8.6 points when he was a sophomore at Onondaga Community College. 8.6 points per game. Per game. I've never seen anything like it.
I remember in 2015 when he was on an attack with Kevin Rice and Dylan Donahue.
That's off the side of the net. Yeah, he was a 2-time junior college national player of the year. Won 2 national titles at OCC, and then had a couple of pretty good years at Syracuse.
His behind-the-back passing.
Here's Tarbell now. Brody Merrill chasing him. Tarbell over to Lyle Thompson. Ward down to the knees to make the save. Thompson the rebound. Flips it to the wing. Kyle Jackson.
Ward sniffed that
not
one
going
out.
away.
Ward sniffed that one out on Lyle. Before the release, he was low.
He made a calculated guess. Goaltending's about probability. It's about understanding what the shooter's windows are. It's about watching film, seeing tendencies in a guy's release from certain spots.
Stotts goes right to the body of his defender. Behind the back, Thompson has the backup.
You're not moving that guy.
You watch Austin Stotts. He gets the ball. He sees the defender. He wants the contact.
Yes.
He's a bear. He's a bear.
Here comes Lyle, that patented one-handed cradle. Fakes the pass. He's got a short stick matchup, gives it up. Now Randy Stotts. Over to Austin. Looking to shake Hasek. He draws the flag. Stotts puts it on net, but it's wide.
How do you stop that when he has momentum and he comes around goal line extended? The strength and the skill.
The Haudenosaunee not going away. They'll have a man-up opportunity. 7:35 to go. It's still down by 5. Canada had taken a 10-3 lead. The Haudenosaunee have answered with 2 straight, both by Austin Stotts, who's had an incredible tournament. And now the Haudenosaunee with an extra man opportunity. It's 10-5. There's not a ton of time left in a format that doesn't have a shot clock. There's a little juice now with this team.
Well, you look at what's going to happen if they score. I anticipate Lyle Thompson being on the wing for every face-off moving forward, right? You have to put your best athletes going after the ball with a Canadian team that has been very efficient at the face-off stripe today.
Randy Stotts over to Bomberry. Now Lyle feeds the wing. Austin Stotts again. A natural hat trick. 3 in a row. And it's 10-6.
The door to a comeback stays open. And for Stotts, this is a shot from distance because he's been making a living right on the tangent of the crease all week long. The Big Bear. A dart left-handed from about 10 yards. Quick little release. He caught Ward Gesson to the far post.
His body language tells you before he catches that ball from Lyle Thompson, I want the rock. He's sitting there next in the rotation, and you see him jumpy, right? That means give me the ball.
He's a hot shooter, and he's earned a few heat checks now. Face-off violation, Canada ball. Courier, hounded by Piscino.
Pressing out this defense.
Less than 6.5 to go. Canada trying to get to the finish line to secure a spot in the gold medal game on Saturday.
Tight man-to-man everywhere.
If you are the refs, you have to be quick to call a stall.
If you're Canada, you got to understand that they're overplaying you on the perimeter and run by them.
Canada's going to take its time when it can. Oakley Thomas looking to press Dixon. Now Dixon gets free. He's doubled. Dixon to the cage, and he scores.
And the Maple Leaf fans love it. This is not Dixon's first rodeo. He knows exactly what the defense is doing.
He feels the pressure, goes by Superman. There's no flight there needed, but he soaks a couple checks. And this is a scenario where you ask yourself, what's more important, a goal here or the ball? But Dixon knows how to finish in big spots, and to go up 5 with a face-off guy like Jake Withers.
I don't think it's as big a deal, Kark, only because the Haudenosaunee have not been great at facing off against the elite teams. If the Haudenosaunee had somebody like a Trevor Baptiste,
yes, you hold the ball.
You hold the ball. And Canada now will milk the clock.
Same defensive strategy. They're pressing out everywhere. So understand, if you can beat your guy.
You have an empty net, too.
Dyson Williams has it for Canada. Jeremy Thompson in pursuit.
You watch this Canadian offense, and if you're the U.S. and you want to scout, you're really getting nothing from this game, scout-wise.
Explain why. Explain why.
In terms of the scheme, you're getting stuff individually. Like, you could scout these guys like Dane Smith, what he likes to do and what his tendencies are, and
strengths, weaknesses, and tendencies
individually. But schematically, for the 6 moving parts and how they're going to run this offense today, will look nothing like Saturday. They are going to throw a ton of wrinkles at the U.S. on Saturday that they haven't seen.
Williams finding the back of the net. Dyson Williams has himself a hat trick, a dozen goals in these World Championships.
Dyson Williams, he must know the Cotter's here, because every time Cotter shows up in the arena, Dyson goes for 6 or 7.
Chris Cotter right behind us. He'll have the call for USA Australia coming up next.
He's looking for him. Look, Dyson's looking. He's looking for him.
Hard to miss those shoulders.
It's a leg day for Cotter today.
You know what? I can verify. He was on the bike at the gym.
Rave reviews of
doing
your
calf exercises on the treadmill.
Of your wife's leg exercises.
Yeah, she can get after it. Byrne over to Fields, who shoots high, no backup. It belongs to the Haudenosaunee. In goal for the Haudenosaunee is Jack Van Valkenburg.
Clark, I'm interested to follow the other part of the bracket with teams like Italy, Israel, who lost yesterday, and Jamaica, who lost yesterday to this Canadian team, to see how they can finish up the week.
Clark, you mentioned Japan. They've got a chance to play themselves into Pool A consideration for the next World Championships. They play England in the 5th place game. That's a team where they don't have youth lacrosse. The only way you can play is when you get to college. You pick up a stick, and they don't have any American or Canadian ringers on that team either. It's really impressive what they've done. As Stott scores his 4th goal.
He's a ringer.
That's 4 in a row.
Austin Stotts. He was 20 or 21 in the first World Championship that he played. He was first team All-World. This is a guy, from a scoring perspective, is so powerful and skilled. He wills his way to pay dirt, but today we've seen some stretch shooting as well. It's been incredible. But to your point, too, with the Japanese, talking with John Paul the other day, and you mentioned this, too, in the car ride over, they've kind of really rallied behind a new coach, a new formula in terms of a youth movement, right? Going younger to build for the next couple World Championships. The thing that was staggering to me was the body change and some of the physicality from the defenders on the Japanese team that I hadn't seen in prior World Championships.
Part of that by design. I had a chance to spend some time with their head coach and John Paul last Sunday, and they totally redid their roster from 2018. They wanted to get younger. They wanted to get a little bit more physical. And certainly it's worked. It's another area where the game is growing. Quint, we had some time to spend with the Jamaican players and coaches before their game against Canada yesterday, and they were telling us, yes, they've got a lot of players who play stateside, as Dyson Williams might get another. No, he'll run it back. That's a team where the sport is trying to grow. They only have about 10 high schools who play on the island. Getting equipment is such a big deal.
Pool of about 200 players right now, 80 who are at elite levels, but it's got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
The Uganda team here is another notable. The African representation.
It's a sport where the U.S. and Canada are still at the top, and Canada will punch its ticket to the gold medal game. They'll get their rematch with the United States. They hold off the Haudenosaunee by a final count of 12-7. But we're starting to see the seeds of what is truly starting to become a global game, as this sport has its eye not just on Saturday and the medal round, but also 2028 and the Los Angeles Olympics. Canada, a 12-7 winner over the Haudenosaunee. Quint Kark and I will be back to wrap it up and set you up for semifinal number 2, the U.S. and Australia. Canada, a 12-7 win against the Haudenosaunee in the semifinal matchup here at the 2023 World Lacrosse Championship. There's Lyle Thompson. The Haudenosaunee will play in the bronze medal game against Australia, most likely, unless the Sharks pull off the biggest upset in the history of this tournament. We've got the U.S. and Australia coming up in just a little bit, but Canada onto the gold medal round. They won the gold in 2014. They've won the gold in 2006. And if it is the U.S. and Canada like we expect, Quint, that'll be the 7th straight World Championships where that matchup has been the gold medal game.
Anish, we called the opening game of this tournament. This Canada offense has really found their flow. They've identified their roles, and I think they're humming. They've improved dramatically, I think, in a week and a half.
I think the U.S. have improved offensively as well, finding a system with some of their stars, too. I think Brendan O'Neill at the midfield, what he's doing out front with his shooting ability and also dodging off of his shots, too. A lot of teams are pressing out, and it's opened up in his dodging. He's going to be a big factor in this game on Saturday if they advance. He's the only collegiate player for Team USA.
Dane Smith got it started today for Canada. 3 points in the first half. He finished with a 4-point game, including a hat trick.
Yeah, Dane is an unbelievable talent in terms of his ability to get to the rack with the right hand, but he's one of the best passing midfielders in the world. Always ready to make a play. He senses out when he can become a passer or a shooter, and he's masterful, and he's with us right now. Dane, thanks for joining us. It's Kark, Anish, and Quinn up in the booth. I got to ask you right off the bat, when I watch you play, it always seems like you're ready to shoot or pass in just a fraction of a second. Why are you always ready to make a play?
I mean, a lot of people think I'm a pass-first guy, and I like to think the same, but sometimes I got to be ready to shoot. With so many talented players like this getting me the open looks, I have to be able to shoot, be a double threat. But I got to give credit where credit's due, and this offense is unbelievable to play with, so it's been nice.
Yeah, Dane, you mentioned the offense. How would you describe the progress the group has made since the opening night against Team USA?
I think we're just being more aggressive. It's a hard game because you don't want to turn the ball over. It's a long game. You can obviously keep possessions for a long time, but at the end of the day, we need to put the ball in the back of the net, and we're all good at playing with speed. So I think we kind of said screw it a little bit, and we're a lot more aggressive, and that's the game plan moving forward. We need to put defense on their heels.
Dane, you'll most likely play the U.S. again in the gold medal game on Saturday. All the conspiracy theorists want to know, how much have you guys been saving for Saturday?
There's been no saving. There's so many talented countries here. It's pretty cool to see the growth going on, but we know that's not our end goal here. We have a big finals, and USA is a great team. We're looking forward to the matchup.
Dane, who gets to wear the Chris Sanderson jean jacket after that one?
I'm not too sure. I think Dylan Ward stood on his head. Our defense played unbelievable. It's going to be hard to give it to everybody, but yeah, again, it's hard to say.
Dane, with this festival atmosphere, what's been your favorite moment off the field?
I think just hanging with the guys. It's weird now playing with so many talented players. I'm usually playing against them and not liking them so much. So it's kind of nice to kind of get to know each other a little bit more. And again, like being able to pass the ball to so many talented players, it's fun to be a part of.
You win an NLL Cup, you go into the PLL, now you got a chance to play for a gold medal. What have these last few weeks, these last couple of months been like?
It's been a roller coaster ride. It kind of doesn't feel real, to be honest. After we won the finals, I got engaged to my beautiful fiance, and now I'm here. And it's been a roller coaster. It's a lot of lacrosse. It's been fun though, and I'm looking forward to hopefully getting a gold medal.
Dane, I follow you on Instagram. I saw the pictures from Greece. I didn't think you were going to come back.
I didn't want to, but I had a big PLL game. It's good to be back in the PLL as well. I can't get enough of lacrosse, I guess you could say.
Well, we look forward to watching you on Saturday. Thanks, Dane.
Thank you.
Dane Smith, 3 goals and an assist. What a couple of months it's been. Engaged. Championship in the NLL, playing in the PLL, playing for a gold with Team Canada on Saturday.